Hey there internets, I'm Michael and this is Toucan Play That Game. And today we are finishing our look at Odin's Ravens by Osprey Games. So if you haven't done so yet, please do check out my previous videos in this series where you'll be able to find out how to set up and play the game and then see an example of the game being played. Now, this video is going to be my review of the game. So before I get into my thoughts and opinions on it though, let's talk a bit about what is Odin's Ravens. Well, it is a racing game for 2 players where you are playing one of Odin's ravens, trying to travel the world, gathering news for him and get back before the other raven. So fairly simple and easy to grasp concept. The way the game works is that you will have cards laid out in a track that have 2 sides. So there you go up one side and then down the other side of the track. And to traverse that track, you will be drawing cards from your own personal deck of flight cards that match to the terrain types represented on the track. You will then play those cards to move along that track. Added into this are some special powers which are given by what are called Loki cards, which allow you to alter the layout of the track or move your position within it. So you can swap cars around, rotate cards, add cards, or even remove cards from the race. So whoever manages to get back first is the winner. So what do I actually think about it? Well, as always, I'm going to start with the art. So we have here the box, and I really love the pictures on this box with the ravens and Odin. I think the artwork throughout this entire game is really nicely represented by this box. It gives a great feel for the style of artwork that it is, and I do enjoy it and I do like it. So following through from the box here, of course you have the art on the cards. So we have here the land cards. Even the backs of these cards, they're not these high graphic images or anything, but the style of them and what is there, I really do like and appreciate. The same way, even with the borders between the different tracks for these land cards are really nice. And then, of course, that leads us into these landscape images you have on here. And okay, some are not as interesting as others, such as the mountains. But there are some really nice ones on here. I love the forest and I love the canyon. They are superb. And of course, those are then even brighter and larger on your flight cards from each of the players' decks. And again, even the back of those cards, you have part of the image from these land cards blown up of this raven. And I think it just works really nicely. It's got this very Norse feel to it with the style of artwork on the backs of the cards. Then, of course, the final bit for artwork, we have the Loki cards. And again, you've got the zoomed in aspect from the land cards on the back there. This time it is the snake, the serpent there. So with the Loki cards themselves, I think the iconography on the bottom of the cards is really clear and easy to understand and makes it very clear what each of those cards actually does. The actual picture of Loki that is repeated across the cards is okay. I quite like it. It doesn't feel like it quite fits in with the rest of the artwork, but I do still like it. So that's good at least. So artwork wise, I love it. It is fantastic. I gush over how nice and pretty this looks when it is set up. Then that takes us to components. Well, first thing I want to talk about component-wise is this unusual box that opens like a book. I like this, and it is something that Osprey Games do with several of their games. It feels like it just helps them have an identity and stand out from the crowd a bit. Would I want all my games to have this style box? Probably not, because functionality wise it's not as good for space on the table, because obviously once you open it out you can't like get rid of the lid underneath or anything like that. But as I say, I do like it for being different and giving Osprey Games games a kind of identity, and it ties in with their publishing background of books, so I do like that as well. And then of course the insert that comes in this box is just this vacuum formed plastic, but it does a great job of holding all the components nicely and neatly in place. So of course, what other components? Well, largely it's a card game. There is mostly just these cards. I've already said that I love the artwork on these cards. The quality of the cards is also really quite nice. I like the fact that these aren't your typical size cards. I mean, height-wise, they're your normal standard size cards, but they're much narrower, and that actually means that they fit much more pleasing to the hand. I don't know if that's because I've got small hands, but I definitely find these cards really pleasing, and I would be pleased to see similar size and shape cards in other games. So of course, the final component is the ravens. So these are laser cut wood, and I think they are fantastic. I love the clear, crisp cut lines of them. I love that when they're sat out, they do look like ravens. The quality of wood seems really quite nice. They are a bit light. I would have liked them to be maybe made out of a heavier wood, but the wood that they are is nice. I especially like the pale one with this clear varnish, because you get a nice feel for that it is real wood there. You can see the grain effect, but both the varnishing on both of these is really nice. It's not lumpy, you know, there's no sticking together. Superb components there. So of course, that's all the artwork and components out the way now. So what does that leave us with? Well, of course, it leaves us with the gameplay, which is probably the most important thing of a game, let's face it. And I will say that I find this game fun. I have yet to win a game, but I do enjoy it. It is a very quick, simple game though. If you're after a really heavy, tactical, engaging, long experience, this game will not meet that. However, if you're after not exactly a filler, but close to a filler that works really nicely for two people and gives you that feel of racing, it's very much a head-to-head sprint feel this game gives you, not like an epic tracking around the world feel, but it does that really well. And having the way in which you use those Loki cards, and not even just the way you use them, but the way you can choose which cards to draw, I think adds a lot of tactical elements to this game, in that there's a lot of tactics of when do you choose to take land, when do you choose to take Loki, and then also when do you choose to play Loki, especially because those Loki cards are limited. You're only going to have 2 of each of them, and there's only 8 in total. So it is got a nice amount of tactics there. I especially like the fact that you get this big, quite big stack really, of land cards, because you're only ever using 16 at a time, plus maybe a couple of extras depending on the Loki cards that get used. And that means that you have this really versatile track that is always different, or at least nearly always different, enough so that every race feels different. So that's really good from a replay point of view. And since getting this, I have played it loads of times. You know, we keep playing it. You play a game in like 20 minutes and you're like, let's try that again, shall we? And you just keep doing that. It is an interesting game, and I do very much enjoy the way the tactics work with those Loki cards, as I said. How it works with the flight cards and choosing when to use your pairs and when to save them, it's definitely, again, a good tactical aspect, but there is a lot of luck as well in those flight cards. So if you're after a pure tactics game, this is not going to be the game for you. If, like me, you prefer your games to be, there's definitely tactics in there. There is choices you're making, and those choices do matter when you're drawing the cards, when you're playing the cards, and especially with those Loki cards, the fact that you've got a choice of 2 things. The Loki cards are what really up the tacticalness of this game, and the flight cards are what are reducing it, because when you're drawing those flight cards, it's because there are so many of them in your deck. It can be very random, and you can find someone leaps ahead because they just, even without using Loki cards, adjusting the track to get the track efficient for them, they just happen to draw the right cards when they need them, And so they're going boom, 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 running along the track. That can happen, but it does seem to balance quite well on that luck aspect to the strategy. And I'm very much a light strategy gamer, I would say, and this very much fits into that need. And it helps that it is a quick game and it will play quickly. Now, of course, can two play this game? Well, only two can play this game. That is a drawback. I prefer games that have variable numbers so that I can play them no matter who is around. However, the majority of my playing is me and my wife, and this game will definitely see a lot of plays from us in the future, partly because it is just such a quick, short filler game for us that we can just, whip it out, have a quick game in half an hour, and it's away again. So if that sounds of interest to you, then please do check out the game. It should be available very soon, if not already. And as I say, my recommendation is, as always, to try before you buy. However, it is a low price point game, and I think you do get very good value for money in that game, in that it has high replay value, and it is a fun, quick game that you'll probably play for years to come. So, thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please do check out the rest of the videos on the channel, and of course subscribe to the channel and share the channel with your friends and family. Also, you can find us on social media. We are on Facebook and also on Twitter. And as always, thanks for watching and bye for now.